friends, it's Liz from Elizabeth Street Studio. Welcome to the Studio Notes podcast. This is episode number 6, 7, I've lost track. It's the second one of 2022. I have a day off today, so I sat down to record this, and this is now the third time I'm trying to do this. Technology and I are just not friends today. Hopefully this works the way it should, because I have some really fun things to share in the podcast today. My name is Liz, and I am the knitwear designer and artist at Elizabeth Street Studio, and I design knitting patterns. And I have a ton of fun stuff to share with you today. I have some finished objects, some new projects, and it kind of, I don't even know what to really call it, but a little bit of a mindset shift goal that I have this year with knitwear design that I thought I would share. I think it's going to be really good if I can meet that goal. Anyway, I'll share a little bit more about it as we go along. I think I'm going to start off with the finished objects because that is the most exciting. I'm actually going to start, I think, with Wilder Woods. In January, I published the Wilder Mitts pattern, these really cute little mitts. It's actually been too cold here in Wisconsin where I live to wear these, like you need legit mittens. And so I am excited to wear these during the spring when it warms up just a tad. It's like 7 degrees here today, and a couple weeks ago we had a giant like thunderstorm. Like, the weather in Wisconsin is a legitimate topic of conversation, especially in the springtime. But I published the Wilder Mitts in January, and I just did not have enough. I didn't have enough of this colorwork pattern. It's kind of a graphic. Oh, is the camera gonna focus for you? Ooh, I think it did. This kind of graphic pattern with, it uses 3 colors, but you only have to use 2 colors of yarn at a time. So it's a really good, if you're kind of practicing your color work or maybe haven't had a ton of experience with color work, I think this would be an easy pattern. But I didn't have enough playtime with this. So after I published the Wilder Mitts, I went on and made up a whole hat pattern. And I called it Wilder Woods. So it's a sister pattern to the Wilder Mitts. It has some of the similar motifs in it, but I just expanded them a little bit. And this Wilder Woods pattern has a beanie version and a folded brim version. I can't even tell you which one's my favorite because I love them both so much. They are really, really cozy. So it has, the hat has just a little bit, oops, it's not framing that up super well for you to see. But I have lots of photos that I will be sharing. There's just a little bit of slouch. You can put a pom on the top. So there's just the beanie version, which has just a little brim, a little bit of a brim, 1x1 ribbing, and then the folded brim version is, oh my gosh, it is just so cozy. Oh, I just love this hat so much. I've worn it a whole bunch. And I love it, I love it, I love it. It started snowing. We had snow on Monday of this week, and I went out in the morning to an appointment. I came back and was like, I'm gonna try and get pictures in the snow. And you guys, I totally got some pictures in the snow of the Wilder Woods hat, and it was very, very exciting. It was so exciting. I woke up feeling really annoyed that I had to deal with the snow and driving in the snow, but taking pictures and playing in the snow with Wilder Woods hat made me feel a little bit better and not quite so cranky about late season snow. So you can add a pom to the top. Both of these I just did a use the pom-pom maker. I've bought faux fur poms. Did I buy that? Oh, here. I bought the faux fur poms from Barrett Wool Co. They have a really nice selection. and they're snap-ons, so that would be a really fun option too. I just didn't want to wait for shipping, but that would look really cute with either of these. Yeah, that'd be really fun, especially with the gold one. So that'd be a really fun option too if you want. This is cinnamon, by the way. I used the snap-on poms for that, which is another really fun one. I've worn these a whole bunch. I have another version of this. So this pattern is actually already in my Ravelry shop. I published this a couple of years ago. And Wilder Woods is ready, and I think I'm gonna publish this next week sometime. Probably I'm gonna try early next week. But Wilder Woods is ready, and I'm gonna set up the discount so that if you buy both, you get a little bundle, and if you've already purchased the mitt pattern, then you'll automatically get the discount on the hat pattern. So hopefully I can figure that out so that it works correctly for all of you guys. I really love this pattern, and I'm so glad I just followed my like creative juices and went for it. These are actually the first colorwork patterns that I've written myself. The only thing I think I would think about for next time is maybe the placement of this is like your main band, and it kind of ends up a little bit higher on the hat than I had imagined. And when you fold up the brim, you kind of lose this right at the bottom. You know what I mean? You see that there? It's easy to lose that when you fold the brim up. So that's something I would think of for next time, but you know what? It's gonna be okay. It still is a really beautiful hat. And I think I might not quite be done with this colorwork chart yet. I'm gonna try and do a round yoke sweater sometime this year with the same pattern. I mean, it is just begging to be, it's begging to be a sweater yoke. Can't you just see that? It's just begging for it. We're gonna see how that goes. We're gonna try it. That's a little challenge for me, but we'll try it out. So Wilder Woods is coming. Again, this is a really easy colorwork pattern. You only use 2 colors at a time. It's 3 colors total, but you only use 2 at a time. And I used Knit Picks palette. So, and it used actually, this beanie version didn't even use a full skein. I still have this little bit left. Even with the pom and the brim, it didn't even use a whole skein. These are a couple of the other colors. This actually was not Knit Picks. It was some mystery fingering weight from my late grandma's stash. So I just quick grabbed that. This was the other, these were the 2 colors from the beanie version. Oh, and this, I think this is Brass Heather. And I think this is Hair Heather. Ooh, I don't remember for sure, and I don't have the ball band sitting here. But I have really loved working with Knit Picks yarn. They have a ton of colors. It was so much fun picking out the colors. They just look so beautiful. And like, I found it really easy to get gauge with this. I just had really, really good work. Sometimes with some of the other fingering weight yarns, I have trouble getting a nice even fabric, especially some of the like superwash, like hand-dyed stuff. Like, I have trouble getting a nice even fabric in stockinette. And the Knit Picks is nice and woolly. I feel like it evens out really well, and I just get a really nice finished piece with that yarn. So I know it's kind of a budget yarn, but I highly, highly recommend it, and it's very budget friendly, especially if you're just getting into colorwork and you don't want to drop a ton of money on some really expensive yarn for like maybe one of your first projects. So that's a little bit about Wilder Woods, and again, it's a sister pattern to the Wilder Mitts, and Wilder Mitts are available right now on my Ravelry shop. And if you don't want to wait to get the mitts until the hat comes out too, you can buy the mitts, and then there'll be a discount. I think I'll set it up so that anyone who's bought the mitts already can automatically get the discount on the hat pattern, since they're kind of a pair. So that is Wilder Woods. So excited about that. And the next The next finished object is the lovely sweater I'm wearing. I hope you can see it. I like have I don't know why I'm having a hard time with the light today. I don't know. Oh, there you go. This is Ginger. This is my first sweater pattern, and it's been like a saga of the Ginger sweater. If you've watched previous episodes, I've talked a little bit about it. I actually knit a whole previous sample of this sweater in Barocco alpaca, or ultra alpaca. I think it's light. It's a DK weight version. This is that version. It's literally like everything. I think everything's the same. I don't think I changed anything in the pattern between this and this. Nothing major anyway. And I knit this all, and it turned out lovely, only for me to realize that I cannot wear alpaca. It drives me nuts. It's too itchy on my arms. Like, I just cannot wear it, which is sad, but this was yarn I already had in my stash, and so it was free for me, so I didn't need to spend any money on that. So I decided to buy some yarn I had been eyeing for this version, and this is going to be like the final photographed version that's in the pattern. I need to find a different home for this guy. Not sure what that's going to be yet, but it'll need a home. But this is knit in Ampersand Fibers Jensen DK, and this is the colorway Vermilion 3. It is like deep, like orangey red. Oh, it's just so pretty in person. It's a really beautiful mix of rustic and like soft. So it has the qualities of wool, but it's not as itchy. I mean, it's not like Icelandic wool or anything like that. It's nice, and like I can wear it on my arms, and these are fairly fitted sleeves. It is very cozy. I wore it to work and I was almost too warm because I was running around like doing things that day, and it's almost a little too warm. But it's a nice like cozy piece. I'm like literally wearing like a workout tank top underneath it because it's just what I had on, so I just threw this over top. But it is a really simple shape. It's a very boxy body. And then there's fitted sleeves. You can see it's drop shoulder, so your shoulder seam hits about here. Just a simple scooped neckline. Oh, it's kind of hard to see with my tank top underneath, but simple scooped neckline. And then you have this beautiful ribbed cable down the front, and it's the same on the back as well. And it's cropped. So you can see it comes like right just to your belly button. I wanted it that cropped so that I could wear it over dresses, and that's actually how I wore it to work, was over a sleeveless dress, like a knee length, actually a little bit shorter than knee length sleeveless dress, and it was super cute. So I wanted it to be that short so that I could layer it that way, and I probably would wear like a longer tank top like this if I wore it with jeans. But that's really easy to customize. There's a split hem as well. I really like how this turned out. It's super comfortable. The pattern is in 9 sizes, so I'm a little bit nervous about the whole test knitting process, because that's the next step. So I'll need testers for 9 different sizes, which will be, this will be a different experience. I'm used to just having kind of one thing, everyone working on the same. I mean, everyone's still working on the same thing, but it's a different size, and I want to make sure everything works for each size. But I mean, I really thoughtfully put this together in a way that was simple but very classic and kind of elegant lines, so that it would look really nice on all the sizes. I think this shape is really forgiving. You could easily go up a size if you wanted more ease, or if you preferred less fitted sleeves. I think you could easily take the sleeves from the size above and pair it with the body that you would want. Does that make sense? I think that would work. Your yarn requirements would be a little bit different than what the pattern calls for, but as long as you accounted for that and kind of planned for a little bit of extra, I think that would work. But I'm really excited about where this is, and finally have like made the sample. The pattern is like pretty much done with tech editing. So I'm really excited about where this is right now. My goal is to have this ready and to publish in October. It does seem a little bit far away, but that actually kind of brings me to the other thing I wanted to share, which was I watched a workshop, I guess, from a designer. Her name is Erin. I do not remember her last name. So I'm gonna link her in the, or I'm gonna link her site in the description. But she had it was a workshop, and then there was a workbook that went with it, and you could purchase it as a bundle. And it was called like Plan Your Design Year. And in it, she walked you through her knitwear design process and how she planned it out, because she separates the actual designing, pattern writing, and sample knitting from, completely separates that from the marketing side. And she does that really on purpose so that she doesn't burn out. And I was like, oh, that is so smart. That is so smart. I think sometimes I like start to burn out. I mean, especially with something like this sweater, like I have been working on it and looking at it for so long, but it is brand new to the rest of the world. And I am almost at the point where I can't manufacture the excitement that and like the attention that this pattern deserves, because I've just spent so much time and mental energy on it. And so I think that idea of separating those two things, because they use such different parts of your brain, it's a different set of skills, I think that makes so much sense. So I kind of took that model and played around with it and like messed around in my notebook and came up with like an entire like scribbled out plan of like ideas and things for like the rest of a design year, with a break in the summer. Knitting things kind of tend to slow down in the summer. People are traveling. I'm hoping to be able to do maybe at least one trip this summer, and that would give me some space to take a break and to just refocus for the fall when things start to pick up again and you start to think about knitting again, and then move into even 2023. And I look at this and I'm so excited about it. I'm so excited, and I have already begun making progress on a few of those ideas, and it feels really, really good. And it feels like these are things I can do. I feel confident. I'm working on like figuring out like photography and other things that, especially marketing especially, I want to make sure I have a separate kind of mental space for that. I have a break, really have a mental space to work on that this year. That's a huge goal of mine. And so I'm going to share a couple of the next couple of designs. I'm actually just really glad to be able to kind of move on from Ginger, get it into another step in the publishing process, and then move on to something else. Like my brain is so ready to move on from that. But one of the things that I'm working on is a triangle shawl. One of my best-selling patterns actually is Wildwood. It is sitting behind here. It is this one right here. I'll link it for you, but it's a really beautiful DK weight shawl with tassels. It's super fun. I wear it around the house when I just don't want to put a sweatshirt on, but I'm cold, and so I just wrap up and it's so cozy. I love it. And that's been one of my best-selling patterns. So I decided to do another DK weight shawl, and I'm using this fun swatch. I don't even remember when I made this, but look at all that fun texture. Like, I just love how it looks. I believe this yarn is Brooklyn Tweed Arbor. I think in Clint. Ugh, isn't that color beautiful? I really want to knit a shawl in this exact color. The gauge is actually, I'm actually wondering if this is Piri. I don't remember now. Let's see, which 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I used size 5 needles. I don't know. I'm not sure. But anyway, I knit this sample with, there's a slip stitch section, a bobble section, or a popcorn stitch, and then this little tiny bobbles kind of connected by the purl bumps. And so I had this watch for a long time. I've always loved it, and I keep pulling it to the top of my pile, and I was like, this is what you should use. Why won't you use this? So I had some beautiful autumn and indigo classic DK in umber, which is actually really similar to ginger. Similar to this color, really in 3. I had some of this sitting around from a previous version of the sweater when I was just beginning to figure it out. And I had this sitting here, and this yarn is so lovely, and I needed to do something with it. So I combined those, and here is the very beginning. Oh, doesn't that slip stitch section look great? I love how that looks. I even like blocked the very beginning of this just to see what it looked like. I just got the first round of popcorn stitches finished. It's a little hard to see on the needle like this. I haven't gotten quite far enough past it to see all of it, but that's the very start of this, and I'm really liking this so far. It's going to be wider than it is longer, so it's not an even triangle. You increase 4 stitches on each right side row, and then 2 stitches on each wrong side row, only on the outside. So it'll be longer than it is, or it'll be wider than it is longer. So it'll be a really easy shape to wear like around your neck, which is how I usually wear shawls. So I really love how textured and like 3D this is. That is so fun. This is a very round, springy yarn. It's very round and very springy. Yeah, those are the edges. But I think so that works really, really well for this texture, and I'm really excited about how that's looking. So that is coming along. That's coming along. And my battery's gonna die. Battery died. Pause. Recharge for the end of this podcast. So this textured shawl design, I'm tentatively calling it Copper Leaf because of this beautiful color of yarn. The other idea that I am currently working on is a drop shoulder V-neck top with a lace headband for warm weather. I've always wanted to try La Bien Amie yarn from Paris. I did not order this from Paris, but I ordered it from Jimmy Bean's Wool. It's now that they have lots of US stockists, it's a lot easier to try this yarn. I've always wanted to try it. There's something about the colors, they're just so like, I don't know, saturated and vibrant and beautiful. And I chose this color, Sansa. This is merino singles. I wanted to use a similar yarn to the yarn I used for my Fiore shawl, which is also hanging back here behind me. It's a single ply merino, and the lace pattern just turned out so beautifully. It just blocked out gorgeously with that fiber content and that type of yarn. So I wanted to use something similar. So, and this was, I was like, I just want to try this really beautiful yarn that I've been eyeing for so long. So I picked out this really like dusty, light, vintagey pink color. It's a very tonal, light color. And I wanted a stockinette body, and I'm using the same lace chart as the one that's used in the Fiore shawl. So you can see there's just some really nice tonal color variations, and then this really beautiful lace. So it's going to be cropped, a little bit cropped again, because I'm imagining layering this over summer dresses and wearing it to work, that type of thing, maybe with some shorts. So I want it to be really light and kind of flowy, so there's going to be lots of positive ease. And I just finished up for this swatch this week, so I can work up some numbers now. I think the construction will actually be really similar to Ginger. You just have a very, very different yarn that you're using. But the construction will be really similar. It's constructed beginning with you cast on the entire width of the back neck, work down to the depth of your shoulder, or the depth of your armhole, I mean, and then put that on hold, come back, you pick up the shoulder, work forward and work any neck increases or shaping. You work that, and then you work the other side, and then you join them together when they get to the right depth, and then work that flat until you get to the armhole depth, and then you join finally your front and back and work the rest of the body in the round. It sounds confusing, but it actually is really not when you're actually working it. I think it's really easy to tell what you're doing once you kind of get the first go over. You're like, oh, okay, that makes total sense. So this will be constructed in the same way. I don't think I'm going to add any sleeves. I think it's just going to be the drop shoulder. Maybe I'll do some kind of edging, but it's going to be really, really simple. So I love how the swatch looks. I love the transition into the lace. Like it just starts and it looks like it's a hemband. It looks so good. Just really natural. I love it. So I'm really excited. I bought 2 skeins of this, and I'm crossing my fingers there's enough. They're pretty big skeins though. I think there's like, yeah, there's 400 yards per skein, so 800 yards I think should be pretty, I feel pretty safe with that for a cropped summer top that won't have sleeves. So we'll see how this goes. I'm excited to work up another sweater. I have a couple other plans for sweaters too this year, but I want to work on something simple to kind of get my confidence going again, especially with garments. And this one will be really easy, I think, to grade and to wear on different sizes. This will be a really easy one to wear with different body shapes and types. It'll look good on everyone. So that's what I have going on. It's really exciting to see new things come together, and I'm really loving where things are going. I feel like I even have like a color palette going this year. Like, look at this. Like I have a color palette. Like I love the things that I'm working on. I have another really fun idea for winter time, like maybe for gift knitting even. I have a really fun idea for that. So I'm excited to see some things take shape, and I'm trying to plan them really intentionally so that, like, this is for October, so we have plenty of time for test knitting. These couple of things have a little bit shorter turnaround, and it is the middle of March already. We'll see how that goes, but I want to intentionally work things ahead so that it gives my brain more space to switch between the designing and the knitting and then the marketing of the patterns. I'm actually also taking a social media break for the month of March, which has been very productive for myself, and I'm seeing just how distracting that can be, and just there's so much, I feel a lot of pressure to be like, okay, what am I gonna post? How am I going to engage today? When I'm like, I have to get to work, and there are so many other parts of my life that are important to me. I need to be present and show up for. I feel like there was always a little part of my brain that was back worrying about social media, and it's been so refreshing to just let that go. And so it's been very, very nice, and I feel like my brain has been able to actually focus on this type of work that I think really matters for moving Elizabeth Strait Studio forward as a business, just being able to put out more patterns consistently, and that feels really good for a creative flow and a creative rhythm. So I'm gonna try and be really intentional when I come back. I feel like I have to come back, but I don't know. I think this will be a very good kind of experiment to see what it's like not being on social media and just using like newsletters, podcasts to share my work. That'll be really interesting. And a website, of course. I need to work on my website. But yeah, so those are things that are happening at Elizabeth Street Studio. I'm really excited for the months ahead and for the plans that I have. I think they're going to turn out really beautifully. If you are interested in test knitting at all, I have a test knitting email newsletter list, which I will put in the description box below. So make sure you sign up for that and sign up for my regular newsletter, because that is the only place I will be sharing about, other than podcasts. That's where I'll be sharing about new pattern releases when they come. So you can sign up for the regular newsletter to get all the info, including the discount for that. And then if you're interested in test knitting and being notified when I've got lots of things coming up, I'll need lots of testers. If you're interested in that, you can sign up for the tester email list to be notified when those pop up. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Happy knitting!